Welcome back to the Willie Morgan Show with Manchester United icon Willie Morgan. It's been an interesting time in football recently. Club football has returned following the international break. But before we get to all that and your questions, Willie, how are you?
I'm fine. Usual, just playing golf, dodging in and out the weather. Although it's been nice today. Been dull, but quite nice. I've played a few holes. And other than that, actually, not true. We went up to York, or near York. Tommy Cannon had a charity fundraising dinner. We stayed at a place called Carlton Towers. Very nice, very nice. People were very nice. So, but also since we spoke, of course, another great friend, Roger Hunt, apart from being a great friend, great player. Roger was a great player. So very sad that Roger's gone. And a few birthdays. Can I, first of all, he's gone now, Johnny Mathis. We spoke to John on his birthday. I'm not going to tell you, he's in his 80s, but he's very well. His birthday was on the 29th of September. And I want to thank all the people who sent me birthday wishes, all the listeners and viewers who sent me. It's very kind. I can't even imagine how you remember. I'm getting so old. But thank you for all your comments and things that you sent. It's really very touching. And for the first time, I think, ever, on the 24th of November, for anyone listening and say watching, I'm going down to the Hilton Hotel in Reading to do a Q&A, a little dinner Q&A. So Callum, I've not done it before. I've never done it. And I'm doing it as a favour for John McLaughlin, my great pal, who runs the hotels. And I believe we've got a load of Scotsmen coming to the dinner, as far as I'm aware. So it's the 24th of November, Reading, at the Hilton in Reading. And also my great pal, Robert Powell, is coming along to the dinner. So anything I can't remember, I'm sure Bob will remember. We'll be fine. And other than that, now it's, as business as usual, just quiet, plodding along, keep me out of trouble as best I can.
Well, before we get to the football, please tell myself and the listeners that your golf game is better than United's form at the moment.
Oh, Stevie Wonder's golf game better than United's form at the moment, Callum. No, my golf is my golf's good. Don't say, it's a kiss of death, but my golf is good. It's very good. I am so happy. United. Listen, how many times on this program have we said, I like Ollie, and I do like Ollie, and I think he has the makings of a good manager. I don't need someone running up and down the line, remonstrating and shouting and bawling. I like how he handles it. It reminds me of Sir Matt Busby. You never saw Matt ever, in his whole career, shout at a player or say, it doesn't happen. But, as we keep saying, the players that got him the job are still there. And they'll get him sacked because they're not good enough. We've named them before. Everyone knows who they are, without going through them all again. And the one that and again, I come back to, what's difficult, Callum, is that I don't know if he has a say in who they buy. I would like to think he has, because as a manager, I wouldn't let anyone buy a player for me, ever. It just wouldn't happen. I don't care who he is, unless I wanted him there, and he would fit into my team, into the blend that I've got and want. He wouldn't be there. Now, I don't know if Ollie makes that decision, or dear, oh dear, these days. Football directors, football, whatever they got, I have no idea what they got at the moment. But Maguire, and again, we've been over this. Oh, he was a bad buy. He's a bad buy. And all that rubbish about not being fit. I mean, what's Gary rabbiting on about him? Nothing to do with him not being fit. He wouldn't be on the pitch if he wasn't fit. He's garbage. He's just not good enough. He's not good enough. And he's beside a long list. Where do we go? Pogba, Martial, Fred. How many times do we go over this? It's the same old story. I actually saw Pogba being interviewed after the match, saying that they needed more commitment from the team. Well, wait a minute. Have a look in the mirror, babe. Have a look in the mirror. You couldn't find him with radar. He wants more commitment from the team. If it wasn't so sad, it'd be funny. But it's sad. We had a great chance this year. And we're back to the old thing. One good game and then 3 bad games. It's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking, Callum.
Just on Harry Maguire, the fact that he played, and as you said, there's been talk about fitness, etc. It was a very poor game, whether he was fit, whether he wasn't fit. But he's the Manchester United captain. Do you believe that he should be the leader of Manchester United on the pitch? I mean, you've said you thought he was a bad buy. Do you think he should be the captain of United?
Not in a million years. He's not a captain. He's not a captain at all. Now, who you want as captain, I don't know. Without knowing all the players and knowing how they think, but he's not a captain. He is unbelievably average as a player. Unbelievably average. I come back to saying, I can't believe Solskjaer watched him before he bought him. It has to be somebody who knows nothing about football who'd buy him. But he is nothing new. It's nothing new. He's been like that. He's cost us so many goals. He's so slow and ponderous, and he doesn't instill any. As a captain, you want somebody with a bit of fire and instill fire in the rest of the team. And he's not a Bobby Charlton or a Billy Bremner or Dave Mackay. These were people who commanded respect, not demanded. They commanded respect because they did what they were asking you to do. And he doesn't, it's not that I'm sure it's not because he doesn't want to. He's just not capable. And obviously, in my opinion, that's why I'm saying it. But you know that. But it's not just, you can't blame Maguire. The reason Ollie got the job is because of the players that were there. They're not good enough. They're still there. Now, I keep coming back to saying, does he actually have a say and said, I want rid of him, rid of him, rid of him, rid of him, or not? I don't know. I really don't know. Only he can tell us that. So, but I sympathise with him. If he doesn't have a say in who goes and who they buy, I sympathise with him. If he does, then hey, if you just take your punishment, because he will get the sack. They'll get him the sack, just like they got everybody else the sack.
One of the questions I'm really interested to ask you, Willie, is about Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex was filmed talking about United needing to pick their best team every single week. Do you believe that a manager who was very successful like Sir Alex should be commenting on the team while someone else is in post? Do you think that's something that he should be doing, or should he butt out of it?
Oh, Callum. My goodness. He should be seen and not heard. Alex, keep your nose out of it. He's got nothing to do with you. And it's diabolical that he should comment on the present manager. He should be seen and not heard. That's what he should be doing. And if he wants to go on, and I know it was about Ronaldo, well, wait a minute, who sold Ronaldo? He was that good, he sold him. Right? Ferguson sold him. So, no, John, shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be doing that. He should be 100% behind the manager, whatever he does. And should never publicly criticise the manager. Never. And I saw what Solskjaer said back, and he was very, very polite. And like you said, well, Alex didn't always play his best team either. Maybe he didn't know what his best team was. But there was many, many games we played where he left people out in games, especially in Europe. And you say, why? You can't leave him out. But he did. So, no, be seen and not heard would be nice.
The thing that's interesting about not only Ferguson's comments, but the sort of atmosphere around United in general at the moment.
You just went there from Sir Alex to Ferguson. Now, Callum, you've just gone from Sir Alex to Ferguson. See, I like that. You've been listening to me too much.
I've just followed on from yourself. So, in terms of his comments, obviously fans will be influenced by them, and a lot of fans on social media are saying that they want Ollie to be sacked and replaced by another manager. The names in the frame, Zinedine Zidane, Antonio Conte, Brendan Rodgers, seem to be the three main names discussed. Would you get rid of Ollie for any of those three managers right now?
None of those three. Hey, Zidane got sacked at Real Madrid. Rodgers, well, after Celtic, I wouldn't touch him with a bars pole. Conte's been sacked everywhere he's been. How many times you get sacked before people go, wait a minute, you can't do the job anyway. I think Ollie, and again, I keep coming back to, I don't know how much control he has over buying players and selling players. I really don't. I like him. I like his manner. He's classy. He's classy. Those three, none of those three get the job. I'd rather give David Moyes the job back than any of them three. You know how bad he was. So, no, they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. And, you know, okay, left Ronaldo on the bench. Well, he came in, scored a couple of goals, then he's done nothing. But it's difficult up front at Man United because we don't have creative play. We don't have a winger. Like you said, we've got a right winger at the bot and playing him on the left wing. Now, I don't understand that policy. I want somebody to get to the byline, not cut inside, because you're not going to create for your centre forwards or whoever's playing up front. You're not going to create cutting inside. You've got to go past the fullback. And yet, you know, we're not that far behind. We're not that far behind. So, no, I'm not in that camp for sacking Ollie, not at all. But I would like to know what control he does have over buying and selling.
On the pressure that he's under at the moment, when you were playing in your career, what was it like to go onto the pitch when the manager was under real pressure? Did you ever experience that? No,
I don't think Matt was ever under pressure. The only pressure he had was a 4-foot putt. He got the yips, and he was my partner. No, you never knew what the manager, not just Matt, but Harry Potts, Jimmy Adamson, Ian Greaves, the people I played. No, they never showed any of that. It wasn't like that. Even when Wilf became the manager, you know how bad he was. He was never under pressure like that. No one put him under pressure at the club. No one. You didn't have the fan, but didn't have social media in those days. You didn't have the fans screaming to get. He just couldn't do the job. He just wasn't up to it. And eventually, obviously, he was replaced. But as a player, you wouldn't know any different. You just go out and do your job. That's all you do. You don't get involved in backroom situations. You just never did. All you say, all you want to do is get off, do your job, and get in the golf course and play well.
So under Wilf, even when things were a struggle, it never changed your approach as a player?
No. I would like to have met Wilf in a dark room somewhere on his own when he was manager. But I wasn't the only one. There was a queue. We'd like to have met him on his own in the dark room. You know what I've thought? He's the brain of a 3-year-old. You know, I've been over this so many times. And I keep coming back. The idea of promoting from within the club was new, and it was right. You just keep the same format, same people, same everything. So you're not chopping and changing and bringing new people with different ideas. It's continued, you know, you're going to just continue what was already there. Unfortunately, it was the wrong person, that's all. The sad thing about when Matt retired, Jimmy Murphy retired with him. If Jimmy had taken over for a spell, it'd been perfect, absolutely perfect. It just at Wilf, and again, and it sort of crossed between Bobby retiring. Bobby Charlton would have been perfect, or Paddy Crown. Either one of those two would have been the perfect person to take over from the gaffer at that time. It would be brilliant. Unfortunately, Wilf got the job, and well, he messed up. That's where it started. He messed up. It started from there, and it's taken many, many years. I just hope they don't get in that situation. You can't just keep replacing manager after manager after manager. That doesn't work, because you come in, new guy, wants different things, wants this, wants that, and it's a 5-year at least. It took Alex 5 years. I mean, he struggled when he first came. 5 years, a nightmare, to the point where he was getting sacked. And the one match saved his job. And then he went on and started using the young lads, started coming through. And great, we were great. It was fantastic. And you got to give Ollie, you got to give him a chance. And I keep harping on about, but he has to get rid of the people that got him the job. And he's not. They're still there. Not all of them, but most of them still there. And they'll get him the sack. And by the way, if they bring another manager in and he keeps them, he'll get the sack as well eventually. Because they're not good enough. It's that simple. Then you come back to, who do you buy then? Who do you go out and buy? I mean, they've done I think it's brave to bring Ronaldo back. He's 36 years old. He's at the end. Well, you don't think so? He's at the end. He's now just picking up a nice nest egg before he disappears into the sunset. He's still capable of scoring goals, but he's not the Ronaldo that was at Real Madrid. I mean, that's why Juventus have let him go. They're not going to, you don't get let go when you can still do it at that level. And it's difficult for Ollie, but you can't have a guy, you can't be paying a guy, I don't know what they're paying him, I have no idea, 500 grand a week or something, to sit on the bench either. I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy. And I know he's saying, oh, well, he needs rest. Well, they shouldn't have got him. Unless he can come there and do the job and play every game that he's capable of playing in, he shouldn't have got him. Should have got a younger guy, goal scorer. But you go on forever with football, Callum. Everyone has their own opinion. This is why the game is so great. Everyone has their own opinion. I just like the guy, and I hope I hope it comes good for him. It's hard at the moment, but I still hope it comes good for him. But to go back to Alex, shouldn't be dipping his nose in there. You know, he shouldn't do that. Not classy. Very unclassy to do that. You just don't do that. So I didn't see the interview, but I read about it in the paper. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
With those players that United should move on, we've talked about Maguire, we've talked about Matic, Pogba, Fred, there's a few others there as well. Should United, in your opinion, should United cut their losses with some of these players rather than holding on any hope that they'll get the money that they paid for them? Should they be willing to accept reduced fees just to get them out the door?
You know, money, well, you're not going to get the money you paid for Matic. Did they pay money for Matic? I can't believe you pay for Matic.
40 million?
No. No. Oh my God. Oh, he's dreadful. He's dreadful. I mean, there are a lot of average, but he's dreadful. He's a non-player. Get the money back. I don't know whether they're looking to get the money. They're never going to get the money back. They're not going to get money back for Fred or Matic or Martial or whoever, even Maguire. They're not going to get money back for him. Who's going to give you 90 million for him? Stevie Wonder. Stevie, my pal Stevie, you know, he's, you got to cut your losses. The problem he has, they're all on unbelievable wages. Nobody else will pay them. It's crazy. Why would you pay an average player all that money? That's the hard bit. I don't know about their contracts, when they're due up, when they're not due up. They give Phil Jones a new contract, I believe. I rest my case, Your Honour. I rest my case. You couldn't, you know, if you wrote that in a book, people would say, don't be stupid. But they have. Now, again, I come back. Is it Ollie? Is it, I don't know if they got a football director or whoever he is or whatever. Crazy. It's crazy. So, I don't know what the answer is, Callum. I really don't. But I do feel, I feel for Solskjaer. I don't know the lad, I've said before. I don't know him, but I do feel for him. The pressure, hey, whatever anyone else said, it's still the biggest club in the world. It is the biggest club in the world. Not the most successful, obviously, at the moment, but the biggest. And it is, it's the job comes with pressure, but all jobs come with pressure. Your job comes with pressure, school teacher. Any job comes with pressure because you want to do it well. And the United job, of course, just greater pressure, that's all. But I would just love to, I don't know. I'd love to see him play 5 forwards and attack. So people can't get to your defence. You know, to get to your defence, take a double-decker bus through the defence. It's heartbreaking. And I don't know. I thought we had the answer. I thought that buying the Spanish lad, Varane, was it?
Varane, yeah.
Varane. I thought, well, that's a good move. He possibly is agile enough to cover, you know, the best sweeper we ever had was Wes Brown. Wes Brown was a fantastic sweeper. I played against Beckenbauer, played against Bobby Moore. I played against, I'm trying to think, the Brazilian, he played sweeper. He was all great players. And the closest I ever saw to them was Wes Brown. He was brilliant when he came in as a kid, sweeping behind Steve Bruce, you know. And then, of course, Alex put him to right back. So, and that, he wasn't a right back. in any way, shape, or form. He was a sweeper and brilliant at it. And the fact that he got played out of position, it ruined his career. He should have been one of the greatest players, English players. And I thought Varane would have done that. The little I've seen of him, he looked like he was pretty mobile and good. So he'd cover Maguire, he'd be able to cover him. But, well, obviously, it hasn't happened yet. I just don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But we are, I think you keep going about De Gea, whatever you want to call him. He must be a nightmare. Must be a nightmare. When he goes on the pitch, how many, he knows he's going to get bombarded. He's got to play great every game. It's not possible. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, that money I put on him at the beginning of the season is looking a little bit bleak now. I think it's going to be a hard Christmas, Callum. Yeah, my God. I really thought we had a chance this year. But when I was doing that, don't forget, Pogba's agent promised us that he would leave. And he's still there. Yeah. Maybe I should ask him for my money back that I put on United, because I voted him.
Well, he certainly got plenty. In terms of other issues in football, come to a good friend of the show, John Bleasdale. Did you watch Scotland versus Israel? And if so, did you enjoy that late winning goal at Hampden?
That was fantastic. I didn't see all the game, but I saw it at the end. We were doing some anyway. I think, no matter who you're playing, it really doesn't matter who you're playing. You still got to win. You still got to beat them. All these minnows, all these teams that come from nothing teams in the past. It's a level game now, and you still got. I think Scotland done brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Oh no, we had a little rejoicement for the last two results. Let's hope they keep it going.
In terms of qualifying for the World Cup, it would be great if Scotland could get there. And another question that we've got coming in is, who was the best Scotland player you ever played with?
Best Scotland player I ever played with is Dennis Law. That simple.
I just love that. And in terms of Dennis, obviously you played with him at club level as well. Did he change his game in any way when he played for Scotland?
No, you didn't. No, he didn't change his game. He just played the same game. The Scottish team under Tommy Docherty, which, Bobby Brown was the first man that I played under, but then Doc for a load of the game. Just attack. We played attacking football. We went out and attacked. Well, we did. There was no tactics as such. You just went out and did your job. Just attacked every time you could. So I say to go back to it, I think if you'd have played Dennis and Joe Jordan together, 74, or if he had played Kenny up front and not in midfield. Kenny wasn't a midfield player. Dalglish we're talking about, obviously.
Yeah.
And you play them in left midfield. And and again, it's the man's are playing some just for the sake of playing him somewhere. But where he should have played it was up front. And I believe we could have won the matches we drew if Kenny had played up front and centre forward with Dennis or Joe. We would have won the matches and not drawn them. No, I'm an old time. Football is a simple game played by simple people. Come on, Callum. It's difficult by coaches. We didn't have coaches. We had managers. And you just went out and played. And if the other team happened to be better than you on the day, they were better than you. It wasn't because they had better tactics, because they took the chances or whatever, or the keeper had great. It was just, the game was exciting. back then. And hopefully, well, I mean, everything goes in cycles. The world goes in cycles. Life goes in cycles. Hopefully they'll get rid of all the coaches eventually and go back and have managers who know what they want, and they just put a blend together. They don't play people out of position. Coach does. Managers doesn't. They don't. And that was what happened with little Donny Almond, Willie. His nickname is Donny, as you well know. You know, he tried to coach. It was that era where the coaches had started to come into games, and you played people out of position, and you don't. You play your best player in his position every game. And if you take your right winger off, mind you, we didn't have substitutes when I was playing in the early days. We had no substitutes. So even if you broke both legs, they would put you in a wheelchair and put you on sit in the wing just to be a nuisance. It is what it is. The game is, I know, it's a different game. It's a different game. But you know, come back to Ronaldo. No good having Ronaldo in the team if you're not going to attack and create chances. He will put them away. You know, he's a goal scorer. But what you have to look at where he's been. Real Madrid. It's like Scotland, the Spanish league. It's a two-horse league. You got Real Madrid, Barcelona, one of them won it every year. So you're going to score more goals than normal because there's only two teams, just like Celtic and Rangers. Whoever played for them scored loads of goals. Because they beat everybody else. And it was only when they played each other that there was a match. And the Spanish league's been like that for years. So playing in the Spanish league is a lot easier than playing in the English league. A lot easier. But he needs help. You know, he needs help up front. He's not going to do it on his own. He's not going to pick up the ball and do a mazy dribble, go past four people and score a goal. It ain't going to happen. He'll pick up pieces in the box. But you have to get in the box in the first place. I'm glad he's here, by the way. I am glad he's here because we don't have a natural goal scorer. He is a natural goal scorer. But you can't score goals if you're not getting ammunition.
That's very true. And staying on the theme of greatest players, Jim gets in touch to ask, who do you think is the greatest Manchester United player of all time?
Well, Jim, all I can say is I can only quote the gaffer. And he said that Duncan Edwards is the greatest player that ever pulled on a red shirt. That's the gaffer being, obviously, Sir Matt Busby. Without hesitation, he said he was the greatest player that ever pulled on a red shirt. Who am I to argue with Sir Matt Busby? I would never argue with him. Well, I did when he missed a putt, but other than that, not about football. So yeah, Duncan Edwards.
Jim also says, who do you think is the greatest footballer of all time, could play for any club or any country?
Jim, it's a toss-up. There's two, and I know Callum and I have spoken before. I never thought in my lifetime I would ever see anyone better than Pele. Pele was the ultimate player. He was the best of the best. He was unbelievable. And then I watched Messi, and I wouldn't like to pick between them. He is in a different world to every other player on the planet at the moment, or the last 10, 15 years. He is truly a genius. He does everything. He's not just a one-trick pony. He does everything. He can do everything. And so could Pele. I was fortunate enough to play against Pelé, and got to know him a little bit. Messi I've never met, but I would hate to pick one of them. So there's two for me. There's two. They could play in any era, any time, anywhere. They were just so good. We were, again, I keep coming back to my idea, you were a specialist. You're a right winger or you're a left winger. You're centre forward. You weren't a jack of all trades. You run all over. You're a right half or a left half. You weren't a midfield player passing the ball backwards, sideways, anyway. You had to do your job. And that's why it was easy to say, well, as a right winger, he's the best right winger in the country, because you could compare him. Because every team had a right winger or a left winger or whatever position. That's not the case now. But certainly Pelé and Messi. If I had to choose one, I would probably choose Pelé. If I had, I don't want to. I'll have them both there. And there's been many great players through the years, but they were the best of the best. So I hope that answers your question, Jim.
Our good friend Otterman gets in touch to ask, have you got any plans to update your autobiography?
I have had people ask me if I'm going to come up with a second book. It's already on tape, Otterman. It's already on tape. When we sat down and Simon, my ghostwriter, we took about 2 years to put everything, and he was fantastic, because without him I wouldn't have done it anyway. He convinced me to do it, and they've only used about 10% of what they actually have on tape, and so it's there. But I'm getting too old to go on the road and sit in the book signings and things. Although I'm saying that, I'm just going to go in to do this Q&A from McLaughlin down in Reading. I know. He got me drunk. That's what it was, Autumn. He got me drunk one day and said, "Oh, you should come and do this." I said, "Yeah, okay." And there we go. So we have looked at it. I know that a friend of mine, Simon Chan, when we went out to Hong Kong and China with him a couple of years ago, and they wanted to put the book into Chinese, and he said, change the cover and update it, and then to put it out in China. And we were looking at it at the time, and then COVID came along, and so we just benched it. So I really don't know. I really don't. I'm too old. Nobody's interested anymore.
They are interested. So that's definitely one Otterman. When we stop recording, I'll keep on at him until he agrees. So don't worry, I won't give up for you. He's also got a second question. This one intrigues me. I don't think we've had this one before. Did you as players get annoyed when George went AWOL, and did you ever try to get him back playing for United again?
Did we get annoyed when George went AWOL? He only went AWOL once, Ottoman. And, and it wasn't his, well, it was his fault, even though it wasn't. He didn't do it on purpose. He missed the coach to take us from Old Trafford up to Manchester to get the train to London. We used to come in the train those days. They didn't have luxury coaches, Callum. They had kind of basic coaches. So we always went in the train. And George had just moved in to his house over in Bramall, and he slept in. It was Friday morning, and what we used to do is report to Old Trafford, and the coach would take us all up to train station, leave our cars at Old Trafford, obviously, and park them there. And he literally slept in. He missed the train by 4 or 5 minutes because he came to Old Trafford first, and coach obviously had gone, and then he got somebody, didn't use his own car, he got somebody to drive him. And the train, he missed the train by minutes, really minutes. And he got on the next train, which was only an hour later. It's not like it was like 3 days later or something. He got the next train to London. We used to stay at a place called the Russell Hotel back then. And we were, let's say, the time you go and you get your room and sign in, get your bag there. And George arrived. I mean, he was literally 1 hour behind us, that's all. And, Matt just said, and, I apologising to the gaffer. And said, sorry, I slept in. And said, well, that's okay. He never got told off or anything. All the gaffer said was, that's okay. Well, you have the weekend off, and we'll see you on Monday. We'll see you at training on Monday. Just have the weekend off. Whether that was the right thing to do or not, we don't know. But he didn't go AWOL. That's a load of gab. It's like talking about that he's drunk all the time. No, he wasn't. He didn't drink. When he was playing, he wasn't a drinker. It was right at the end of his career when he, struggling and moved to London and having a nightmare. So it was nothing to do with drink. It was nothing. He literally slept in. That's it. That's all it was. So he didn't go AWOL. And then the next call that happened with Wilf, it was much later on. If he had fallen out, I don't know. But he didn't go AWOL all the time. Not at all. He was a great guy. He was a great guy. There was no trouble, no problems whatsoever with players or anyone. So should have got a better alarm clock, that's all.
I'll leave the last word on the show from our listeners to Lynn Cameron, who is a massive fan of the show and always supports us every week, which is fantastic. She's asking, apart from golf, what else do you like to do in your spare time at the moment?
Oh, Lynn, golf mainly. I try to get out every day. I don't always play 18, but I live on the golf course, and I can slip onto the 4th tee and play a few holes. And it's subject to weather. I just try to play every day. I don't really do much other than that. Not a lot. I wish I could. I used to play tennis. I used to love tennis, but again, we've not been able to play tennis for ages. I've still got the racket and the balls and everything, but I say I've not played for ages. I used to play all sport. In fact, talking about Bestie, Bestie and I were the 2 best table tennis players at United. Him and I were, either way, we play all the time. And because everywhere you went, every hotel had a table tennis table for whatever reason. And we love playing table tennis. But it's just golf now. That's it. I wish I could be more exciting, but that's all it is. But my golf's not bad.
That's the main thing. As long as it remains strong, then that's the pinnacle. In terms of yourself, Willie, before we go, anything you'd like to say to the listeners?
No, just I just thanks for listening and watching. It is very humbling that so many people listen and watch. It's very nice, and as long as you want to hear me waffling on about whatever, I'll keep doing it. As long as Callum wants to do it,
Absolutely.
doing it. I enjoy it. You know, it's nice to be able to give an opinion. You know, the only thing, I don't want to go into newspapers and gossip and things and say this and do that and snipe at people. But on the program, all it is what I think. You know, there's nothing made up. There's nothing to be controversial, or it really is just what I think. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't say I'm right all the time, but it's just what I think. And as long as you're willing to listen, I say, or watch people on YouTube, I'd like to keep doing it. As long as I've got hair. If I go bald, I'm gone. Right. That'll be the end of it. I ain't doing a Yul okay? But as long as I've got hair, I'll keep doing it.
Brilliant. Well, as always, it's always a pleasure to work with you. Thank you to everyone who's watching and everyone who's listening. And until next time, take care.